it takes time to heal. So please chill your boots, chill your whatever it is that is not allowing you to chill. Make sure that you allow the woman to heal first before you start putting pressure on them to have any kind of sexual intercourse with you. It helps a lot. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about a topic that some people find very, very difficult to deal with. It doesn't affect everyone, but sometimes when it happens, we don't even know what it is. So I just wanted to go through this with you in case you relate with this. This is actually for the mothers out there. If you've newly given birth, if you're a mother, if it's your first time, you don't know what's happening to your body, this is for you. So today, guys, we're talking about PPD, which means postpartum depression. Postpartum depression, and it's associated with, basically just after you've given birth, you have those kind of mood swings and symptoms. So basically postpartum basically means the time after having a baby. Okay, pretty much that's what it means. The time after having a baby. Now, like I said, some women get the baby blues, or they feel sad or worried or tired within days of giving birth. Okay, that's normal. For many women, the baby blues kind of go away in a few days or so. If it lasts longer, this is where you need to, try and figure out what it is. If it lasts longer, then you may have a postpartum depression, which is kind of like feeling hopeless. And so usually feeling hopeless after giving birth, it's usually not part of having a child. It's not a regular thing, and it's not expected for you to feel that way after giving birth, because it's just not a normal thing. So that's why when it happens, you have to kind of embrace. When I say embrace, you have to kind of identify and deal with it. You don't just ignore certain symptoms mentally, physically, emotionally that you're going through. It has to be dealt with. Postpartum depression is a serious kind of mental health condition that involves the brain and affects your behavior and physical health as well. So if you have depression, normal depression, some people have gone through that. It's more or less the same. You feel sad, you feel hopeless, you have these hopeless kind of feelings that don't go away, and it can interfere with you. It can interfere with your kind of like day-to-day life. You might not feel connected to the baby, which is very important for you to make sure you take note, identify, and see if that's your case. It makes you feel disconnected with the baby, and pretty much you don't want to care. That's the description I can give. It's like you don't want to care about anything, about the baby, about yourself. Sometimes it can be mild, but then it can turn to a very severe thing, which you need to watch out for. So postpartum depression describes a range of physical and emotional changes, like I said. So sometimes the chemical changes involved can be a rapid drop in hormones after giving birth. Sometimes, obviously, when you're pregnant, if you've been pregnant before, the hormones go up and down, up and down, up and down. Sometimes the guys just don't understand what is going on with you. But it's the same for childbirth. Once you have the baby, after you've had a baby, the hormones drop quite, significantly, and can affect your mental and physical and emotional side of things as well. So you need to keep an eye on those things, just so that it happens. You don't think, oh, it's just a normal thing that happens to everybody. You have to still analyze and identify that issue to be able to work with it and around it. So you're probably sitting there asking yourself, what are the symptoms? Don't shake, I've got you covered. So the symptoms, these are the things that you look out for. These are the symptoms that you probably sit down and think, okay, does this apply to me? You have to remember that not all the symptoms mean you've got postpartum depression, or you've got baby blue, or you've got so and so. It could be something else, but you have to kind of like cross out what you think it might be. But then you have to seriously take note of the symptoms for you to be able to eliminate things that could be a possible threat. So you're starting to feel angry and moody, feeling sad and hopeless. You're feeling guilty and shame. You're eating more or less than you would usually, in a sense where kind of like your appetite change. You don't want to eat as much as you used to. Sometimes, usually, it's because you've had a baby. You don't want to gain weight, so you don't want to feed yourself. And then if you're breastfeeding, for example, you end up, obviously starving the nutritional needs that the baby needs from your food that you take. So if you're not looking after yourself with the kind of food that you eat and how often you eat, for you to, obviously send nutrient to the breast milk to give to the baby, then you are starving the baby really of these nutrients. So it is hard at times when people are so upset sometimes with their body straight after having a baby. They want to, kick back in shape. And I'm sorry to break this down to you. It doesn't happen that way. Your body just doesn't spring back to how it was pre-baby. You have to allow yourself to be a mom, first of all. You've literally just given birth. That shouldn't be something you should be worried about. Your first worry is to make sure you're eating the right food, eating properly, making sure that baby is getting that breast milk if you are breastfeeding. And make sure that it's not just for the baby. Make sure that you're actually looking after yourself. Make sure you're actually looking after yourself as well, because the baby needs you to look after him or her. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not just about you now. You've got a baby that you need to focus on. And also, you sometimes have this unusual crying. One minute you're okay, the next minute you're not okay. You lose interest in a lot of things that you used to do pre-baby. You begin to kind of draw yourself away from friends and family. Your libido is low as well, where like you don't feel like having sex. You have trouble sleeping, and sometimes you get these overwhelming feelings where everything is just too much for you. Those are the symptoms that you need to be aware of. Okay, so now, what are the women who are more risk? Who are more of a risk of this PPD, of this postpartum depression? Who can get it more than others? What is the issue? What can make other people get it more than you? Okay, so if you had a traumatic birth, if your delivery from going into labor, having the baby, and going through all the delivery process, and it was very traumatic for you, sometimes it affects people psychologically and mentally, and then it makes them feel like some people need time to actually get over things like that, so it starts to affect you, and you don't want to get pregnant again, and you start to sometimes look at the baby and just don't want to care. So it depends on the individual and what has impacted that feeling for you to not want to care. Okay, so we need to look at possible threats, possible reasons why someone may feel like that. The other thing is there's lack of support in the family. Lack of support in the family as well. If you're not having support from your friends, especially from your family, then it is going to affect you, because everything will feel so overwhelmed. If you've experienced domestic violence as well, that will affect you. Trust me, that will affect you if you've experienced things like that. If you are having kind of like relationship issues, financial issues, money worries on your mind, you're having other stresses about your job or any other kind of stress, it does have a toll on you. And if you don't have family around you who understands what you're going through and give you that support, it will be very, very difficult for you to bounce back from that. Okay, so another thing is if you're having hard time breastfeeding, some people, once they have the baby, they find it very difficult to breastfeed, and it's not really their fault. Sometimes the breast just doesn't come, the breast milk just doesn't come. So you sometimes feel like it's your fault, you feel guilty and stuff like that, but it's not your fault. You need to understand that sometimes these things happen, and sometimes when you take that so personal, it does affect your mood as well. If you've had unplanned pregnancy, I mean, a lot of the time this happens where people have unplanned pregnancies that they're not expecting to happen, and it happens, and then you get mixed emotions like, okay, am I really ready for it? Especially if you're not planning it. Is this what I really want? Okay, now everything's just going to change, kind of thing. There's so many thoughts going on in your mind, and that can also cause stress. Okay, if you have a history of depression, that can also add to you feeling, being depressed about those kind of things. If you are a young parent as well, something that is very new to you, you're very young, you feel like you've not lived your life, and you've got a baby to deal with, that can also add to that depressive state as well. So hence why you need your family around you, your friends around you to support you. Okay, if you have family history of postpartum depression or any kind of depression, that can also affect you. If you also have a child with special needs, that is an extra work. Because all your attention has to be on that child. So that can cause, for you to be stressed on, how to go about things, especially if it's your first time as well. You also, when you have twins or triplets, catering for 2 babies at the same time, triplets, 3 babies at the same time, how to feed, how to change the diapers and things like it's hard. I'm not saying you cannot do it alone. It's hard for you to do that because once you're attending to one baby, another baby will need the other attention. So you need your family, your partner, your friends around you who can support you to be able to, make that less stressful. You have loss of energy as well. If you don't have energy all the time, it will affect you. So you have loss of energy in things that you usually do. You don't have energy to do anything else. You also have loss of interest in your hobbies. Things that you used to do no longer, enthuse you or enthuse you or whatever. You don't want to do those things anymore. Those are things that you need to kind of take a look at, because there are times when people want to self-harm when it gets to that severe part where people want to self-harm themselves because they're just not happy with where they are and things that they're going through. Instead of reaching out to people, some don't want to be judged and some just don't want to talk to anybody else about it. I will encourage you to reach out to somebody that you trust, that you can, voice these things out so you don't suffer in silence. There are ways to cope. Obviously, I'm not going to go without letting you know those things. There are ways to cope. So find someone to talk to, like I just said. If there is a friend or a family member or somebody that you trust, it doesn't have to be a friend or family member. You can speak to, there are helplines out there where you can speak to somebody if you're in need. You can be anonymous and just speak to somebody for someone to listen to you, and obviously speak to your doctor as well, your GP, medical practitioner. They are there to also kind of direct you and to who can help you as well. So don't suffer in silence. Make sure that you're making use of the help that is out there. You can also join support groups for new parents. A lot of people don't like to, share their issues with people or be in the midst of people. If that's not for you, you can, obviously call our helpline numbers, like I said, where the person doesn't know you, but I have to say that these support groups as well, they have activities and things like that that can cheer your mood up, things that you might find you have new interesting to do. Those things can actually lighten your mood up and kind of give you a different point of view in life as well. So don't just disregard that one. You need to eat healthily. I know this is something that we say all the time, but you do need to eat healthily. You need to change your, I wouldn't say diet, but your balanced diet. Make sure that it's balanced. You're eating the right things, especially if you're breastfeeding the baby or even for yourself. Okay. Try and make time for exercise, but obviously have the clear go ahead from the doctor a few weeks after giving birth before you even tackle anything. I would, spend the time enjoying my baby in the next few weeks and months, and then gradually get back into working out or doing something that you like to enjoy. You could take the baby for a walk as well. That's another thing that can, obviously getting your steps and calories, steps in there as well. So which that can help you. But everything has to be gradually. Make sure you're healthy and well enough to be tackling any kind of workout. Another thing is to rest. A lot of people don't like to do this. It's like, okay, I've had a baby, I have to be awake, I have to do this, the baby's sleeping, I need to, do the cleaning, I need to do the washing, I need to do this, I need to do that. My sister is, she just never has time. She doesn't understand that you have to rest. You have to rest. You have to rest. So my sister just had a baby recently, and she's a first-time mom, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful moment. But sometimes you just forget that, okay, I've not had a sleep because I've been with the baby all night, or I've spent so much time with the baby that I've actually not had sleep for myself. And that is something that we need to look at, where we make sure that we sleep, get enough rest. Because when you are breastfeeding, for example, and you have a baby, when you're breastfeeding and you've not had enough rest, even if you've not had a baby, as the normal person, as an ordinary person, you've not had a baby, you haven't been sleeping enough, your brain doesn't regenerate, doesn't refocus, that's why you sleep, for the brain to stop overworking and to regenerate and regrowth, and give you new ideas and perspective in life about things as well. So you need to make sure that you have enough sleep. That's why they say try and sleep at least 8 hours. That's just a guideline, but you need to make sure you have enough sleep, just so that you'll be able to wake up fresh and be able to, something that you couldn't look at the day before becomes like a new, you have a new angle about it. So sleep is not just for as the mother, especially you have to have your sleep, because sometimes if you don't have your sleep, you can't focus, and you can't focus on the baby, you can't focus on things that you need to do, and sometimes it brings certain errors and mistakes, and we end up doing things that we shouldn't be doing. But yeah, so sleep is very, very important. They do say when the baby's sleeping, that's when your time to just take a nap. Sleep. The washing and the cooking and everything else can wait. Sleep. Even if the baby is up and you feed the baby can be there, in the pram or in the pushchair or whatever, watching you cook and, do the dishes at the same time as well. So it's not something that cannot be done when the baby is up. Just make sure you sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Self-care is another thing. Mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically. Self-care is very, very important. So look after yourself before you can look after somebody else. You can't expect to be the way you are and have energy mentally, physically to give to someone else. You have to look after yourself first. Okay, there's a video on that already. If you've not checked that out, just check out how to look after yourself. You also need help with the household chores and errands as well. So if your partner or your family or a friend can help you, say go to the shop for you, buy your groceries and stuff like that, you can give them the list, go and do this for me, or come and help me with the dishes and stuff like that. There are people that you can call to help you with this kind of thing. You don't have to do it all alone. You're not a superwoman. You may be, but you need the rest as well. Make time to step out. Take the baby for a walk. Maybe just start off by going around the block and things like that. Make time to step out. Don't just be indoors all the time. That can also be a little bit overpowering. Sometimes fresh air is very, very good for you as well. Talk to other mothers, people who have had kids before, the support groups as well. There's groups out there that are just full of mothers. They share and discuss things that they're going through as new parents. And they share advice and tips as well. So that's something that you can try and join, and then you can share your experiences. They share their experiences, and it makes things so much easier. Embracing certain tips and experiences from other people. Maybe someone can say something that you are currently going through, and that could help you as well. We also have don't make major life changes after birth. Do not make major life changes after birth, because that is putting pressure on you. Times you just need to go with the flow. Okay, you have a baby to focus. It's not just the two of you anymore. You have a baby, somebody that is now an addition to the family. So you need to consider that as well. It's not just the two of you anymore. And husbands as well, try and understand your partners. Make sure you understand what they're going through. Try and put your feet in their shoes. Make sure that there are times when they just need you to take the baby for a while, just so that they can take a breather and breathe. Communication is the key. You both need to communicate with each other. The mom needs to communicate with you and say, you know what, this is the issue I'm having. Can you look after the baby? Can you do this? Can you feed the baby while I do this? Communication. The man also can say this and that, this and that, this and that. This is what I want you to do, or this is what will work for us. Communication is the key. Also, when it comes to sex as well, you both need to, have that conversation. Some conversations are very hard to have, but those are the conversations that you need to have. So make sure that you have those conversations. No, especially for the woman, you have had a baby. There is no pressure for you to get back into bed doing those kind of things. Because first of all, you need to heal, and you can't have sex until you've had the go-ahead from the doctor. So be very, very careful. Especially when you have tears and cuts down below as well. You need to be very careful. Make sure you have the go-ahead before you do anything. So gentlemen, please calm down till the woman is healed. Because sometimes when they have episiotomy, which is like the cut for the baby to come out easier, it takes time to heal. So please, chill your boots, chill your whatever it is that is not allowing you to chill. Make sure that you allow the woman to heal first before you start putting pressure on them to have any kind of sexual intercourse with you. It helps a lot. Communication, like I said, helps a lot as well. So the two of you communicate. Sometimes men too also need to understand that after having the baby, the last thing that is on my mind or on a mother's mind is having sex. Understand that. You have to understand how they're feeling as well. You have to understand certain emotions that they're going through, so it doesn't mean that they're not going to ever do that with you. It just means that they're going through something right now that you just need to take your time and communicate with each other, You also have to be very realistic about your expectations for your baby, okay? So don't be too hard on yourself. Take each day as it comes, because what happened yesterday, you can never take it back. Memory that happened, you can't change anything about yesterday, obviously. So remember to enjoy every moment together with your baby. If you're having difficulties, make sure you ask for help. There's help out there. Make sure you ask for help. Don't just get up and do what you want to do. Make sure you ask for help, and make sure you're not hard on yourself. Make sure that obviously first time mothers it is overwhelming getting the information out there to do this, wondering if you're doing this right, if you're doing this wrong. Just make sure you ask for that help, okay? have your own experience with your own baby. Take on board what people are saying, but at the same time, try and obviously figure things out with you and your baby as well. You have to also expect the good days and the bad day. Not every day is going to be the same. There will be days where you just feel like, oh, you know, I just can't do this, or the baby is crying too much, or I cannot feed this baby. The baby is just not vibing with me today. You know, that is normal. Take a chill pill, step back, start again. It's not a competition. It's not any kind of pressure where you feel like you have to do something. There's nobody there watching you. There's nobody there, you know, expecting you to be the best mother in the whole world. As long as you are doing what is good for the baby, capiche. It's as simple as that. Just make sure that you expect the good days and the bad days as well. Not every day is going to be great. Some days will be awesome. Some days will just be like a rainy day. Some days will just be like, oh, I'm so tired. Give the baby, you know, let your partner look after the baby while you just take a chill pill. Go for a walk by yourself. Come back feeling refreshed. Start over again. There's nothing that needs to put pressure on you, that needs to make you feel so overwhelming to the point where you just get yourself so wound up, so stressed up. And then that gets into something else that shouldn't be, you know. So yeah, make time for your partner as well. Yes, I know I said this before. Do make time, communicate, spend time together. When the baby's sleeping, you guys do things that you do, your hobbies and stuff like that. Like I said, make sure you have the go-ahead from the doctor before you're able to do any kind of fun stuff. But yeah, once the go-ahead has been given, make sure you give your partner that time to make sure that you guys are, you know, on the same page. This is quite hard for some people, but try and limit some of the visitors that you have. It's not every day that somebody should come to your house. Sometimes you can say no, you just want to be alone for today, you know. Sometimes having so many visitors can be overwhelming. Don't be afraid to say no if you don't feel like having someone come in that day. So yeah, I hope I gave you enough information on that topic. If you have any questions you want to ask, as usual, you can put it in the description box below or email me privately. I've got my email in there as well. I'm just sharing my experiences with you and obviously researches that I've done. So I hope that you guys take that on board, and I hope you enjoy being a parent. Yeah, so I'm going to see you guys very soon. Have a blessed week and take care. Ciao.